All right. I call to order the meeting of the mayor and council of the Borough of River Edge, June 12th, 2025, at the River Edge Library, 685 Elm Avenue, and on Zoom. This is a regular meeting at 7 p.m. Could I ask for a moment of silent reflection as our nation deals with so many different issues, just nationally and internationally, and for guidance for all of our leaders? Councilman Glass, if you could lead us in the pledge.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting complies with the Open Public Meeting Act by notification on January 6, 2025, with this location, date, and time to the town news and the record, and by posting of the same on the municipal bulletin board and the borough website, and filing notice of the same with the municipal clerk. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Sure. Council President Montesano Cohen is absent with prior notice. Councilwoman Kinsella.
Here.
Councilwoman Malalari is absent with prior notice. Councilman Benson.
Here.
Councilman Glass.
Here.
Councilwoman Dhariwal.
Here.
Mayor Papaleo.
Here. Could I have a motion and second to approve the minutes of the mayor and council regular and closed session meeting of May 8th and the special meeting of June 4th, 2025?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, it is unanimous. Without objection, I'd like to alter the agenda and move presentations to item 7 and deal with proclamations awards as item 6. And is there objection? Hearing none, it is so moved. Could I also have a motion and second? Would the council consider from now on always having proclamations and awards prior to presentations? Would that be acceptable?
Yes.
So moved, yeah.
It's been moved. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so in the future, and if we can always change the agenda so that proclamations come right after minutes. Very good. Okay, anyone who's here for the yoga day proclamation, please come forward so you can be on YouTube. And Councilwoman Dhariwal, if you'd come up. Okay, come on over. We want you to stand right about here. Councilwoman, please move forward. A little forward. Keep going. This is good. Everybody fill in behind. And if you don't see yourself on the screen, then you can't be seen. So come on over, make 2 or 3 rows. Fill in a back row. That's good. Everybody kind of fill in over. I feel like I'm back in school. Here we go. All right, students. Here we go. Oh, come on. I have a little guy too. All right, so just over a little bit more. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. So, so this is a proclamation on International Yoga Day. Now what's happening is I'm blocking, well, if you guys could just move over a little bit, that's great. Okay, good. So, Councilwoman Dhariwal and those here at your request, I think, right? And thank you for coming, are here to accept this proclamation, okay? All right. Whereas yoga, an ancient practice originating in India, embodies the unity of mind and body, thought and action, restraint and fulfillment, harmony between humans and nature, promotes holistic approach to health and well-being. Whereas on December 11th, 2014, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed June 21st as the International Day of Yoga, recognizing its universal appeal, and is celebrated around the world annually on the 21st of June. Following this adoption, the date of June 21st was chosen as it is the summer solstice, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, and the day where there is the most sun out of every other day of the year. Whereas the state of New Jersey acknowledges the importance of promoting wellness practices that enhances the quality of life for its residents, yoga offers physical, mental, spiritual, benefits contributing to improved health, stress reduction, and community harmony. Whereas yoga, derived from the Sanskrit word for YUJ, meaning to join or to yoke, broadly refers to a system of physical, mental, and spiritual practice aimed at achieving unity and balance. It encompasses a variety of disciplines, including physical postures, which I believe is pronounced asanas. Asanas, okay. Breathing techniques,
Pranayama.
very beautiful, and meditation,
Dhyana.
very good. All designed to connect body, mind, and spirit. Yoga reflects the union of individual conscience with that of universal consciousness. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Tom Papaleo, with the River Edge Council Council in the state of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim June 21st, 2025 as International Day of Yoga in River Edge, New Jersey, and encourages all its citizens to participate in activities that promote practice and understanding of yoga. I don't think that's proper. Would you like to introduce anyone in the crowd? And would you like to say a few words?
Warrior pose.
Would you like to introduce yourselves? Maybe just say your first names.
Introduce and why yoga, maybe in one word, what is yoga for you?
Marie Catino, peace.
Marilyn, Lopresti, centering. Joan Ilg, satisfaction.
Caroline Lippincott. I don't know why, but I just thought it would be a good thing to do.
Diane Pinto, just relaxation, quiet time.
Susan Mengers, it helps our body keep moving and calms us down also.
Movement and calm, right with you.
Nehal Doshi, it's peace and mental sanity for me.
Yeah, same, Akshay Doshi, stress buster.
And what about the little guy?
Do you do yoga?
No, no, we won't put him on the spot. So, my wife loves yoga. My family loves yoga. I'm not great at yoga, something with internal gas. It never goes well. Yes, TMI. But it is a great practice, practice worldwide. And thank you for being here today to celebrate this day. And thank you, Councilwoman, for bringing this to the council's attention so that we can proclaim it and recognize it. Sure.
You want me to take some?
I got it. All right, everybody, just squeeze in there. All right, and say namaste.
Namaste.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, so we have a presentation. We have Sergeant Diamond here today, and he is making a presentation on behalf of the Police Department, Chief Walker, and the Traffic and Safety Committee. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
You're welcome, Sergeant. Thank you for being here. I should say that I and Councilman Benson are on traffic and safety. We are aware of what the Sergeant, Police Department, and Traffic Safety is recommending. And I don't want to speak for Councilman Benson, but I should say, I think he would be in agreement with me that we are in support of these recommendations.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Actually.
A little different from what was emailed out earlier, so everyone's aware.
All right, well, improvement is always a good thing.
Learned that I missed a few pages at the copy machine.
Oh.
And then one of one.
You have one?
Yes, I got it. Thank you. And then this way, I don't see the map, so if it gets confusing what we're doing at the end, we can refer to that. How's that? Hard for all the people.
Steve,
How are you?
great, come sit forward, Steve. No worries.
Practice. The coaching.
So we welcome Chief Walker with Sergeant Diamond, and we take it away.
Thank you. Can I share my screen?
Who's in control? You don't have a share button?
Record, raise hands, chat. Q&A.
And do I have to add?
Oh, here it is.
Okay, very good. And why don't you change the view? I think you should have an option of making it even bigger. Okay, great. Okay,
All right, good evening. Can everyone hear me?
yes,
Just making sure.
your mic is right in front of you.
Oh, even better. All right, so myself and Chief Walker, as the mayor stated, presented a few things to traffic and safety over the last 3 months. So we're here presenting to the mayor and council to see if you guys are willing to move forward on that, the proposed ordinance additions. At the end is the big ticket item, as we're gonna talk about the current 9 to 11 parking and what we propose moving forward if the council wishes to move forward and the steps we would like to take. The first is, we have vehicles driving on non-paved surfaces in the borough of River Edge, particularly between Wales and Woodland, during school drop-off and pickup. Going to the code book, we went to enforce it. We have nothing in the book. Went to Title 39, which is the state law. There's a little recreation piece that basically deals with private park, public parks, didn't really fit. So we are asking the mayor and council to pass an ordinance that you can't drive or operate any vehicle on a non-improvement services in the borough or River Ridge. So that'd be your Oak Ave Paper Street, your Woodland, the path between Wales and Woodland, and also like Elm Place, which is actually off Tenny Ave and Riverside Way down there. Short story on that, during a snowstorm, we actually had a vehicle try to go up there, go down by the railroad tracks, and we had to take them out with a tow truck and frame 2 years ago, so. Dual purpose ordinance. on
Okay,
that.
so these would cover all the paper streets, including all the way up to, is it Kensington?
Correct, there's other little nuances, so we're just create the ordinance that if it's not a paved, approved roadway, can't drive on.
Excellent, great.
So, and these are just some pictures that we just spoke about. So. All right. And that's Elm Place. That the vehicle went down during a snowstorm. Any more questions on that?
Since
Simple.
it's your own private property.
Correct, you can drive on the private property.
So I was gonna suggest that like it should be that you can't operate a vehicle on it from like destination to destination, but like if you're needed for like a turnaround or like, sometimes people go over the curb. I mean, it's not legal, but like.
Yeah, but there's no reason for that.
Yeah.
I know all
One
the
of these
streets.
locations,
No,
There's no.
Absolutely not.
you're in a bad place if you're there.
we have.
There's often there's kids playing on the other paper street, the one that goes through the middle of town. It's like.
So we have Amazon trucks driving on this,
Yeah,
going street to street delivering packages.
Does it show up on Waze?
It, they
well,
claim they do,
So-
but I don't see it.
so the problem with the map is that the paper street shows up on the map as the actual street.
Do we want to by ordinance remove it? We don't want to remove it as a street. Because that's another conversation, but you can do that.
Well, the council is in agreement that we should move forward with the ordinance. I think that the police would be okay with that discussion happening, and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a roadway. I mean, we also know people make left-hand turns on tracks because they're following ways too, so. I don't know, you can only figure out so many ways to stop people, but. I think the ordinance will address it because I think what you're gonna add to this is signage. Yeah.
That's right.
We're gonna have double, red dots and double, and an arrow, particularly at the Millbrook and the other location.
Any other member have a question or comment about this portion?
Not about this, but I was just curious, there is a cobblestone street. Is it
That's
the way
Lincoln,
or-
right?
The Lincoln up there?
Yeah,
You
is
can
that-
still drive on, that's considered.
So
paved.
that's paved.
Yeah, that's paved.
But-
it's
But we
Stop.
close it during the winter time because it gets icy,
close
don't we?
it when it's ice.
Yeah.
It's open,
Oh.
most, just when it's
But
ice.
that's
This
not-
would not.
That's a legitimate roadway.
Yeah.
And the cobblestones are actually protected historically.
Okay, the next issue we're having in River Edge is that we have trailers being parked not attached to a motor unit. And a motor unit is the vehicle or truck that pulls the trailer. Particularly, we're having utility trailers and recreational trailers down by the apartments. We've had enclosed trailers on side streets that people have been complaining about. And on Manchester Road, we had a camper for last summer for outside a house. So we've taken those complaints and we've digested as a police department. So it's our recommendation to the mayor and council that if a trailer is not attached to the physical motor unit, it should be considered abandoned. If it's on a public roadway, we're not talking about private property. Everything we're talking about tonight, all the ordinances, we're speaking about the roadway because we don't want to get into the zoning ordinances. It's a whole different summons for us and a whole different ballgame. We'll leave that to the zoning officer and we're talking about the public roadway. So we're recommending between 12 and 6, which is in line with our commercial ordinance that no trailer should be parked unless attached to an operable registered vehicle on the streets between 12 and 6.
If it has valid tags, it's okay.
As long as it's attached to a vehicle, just not
Oh.
like left abandoned on
Yeah, a
the.
trailer with tag on it.
So here's just some examples.
But I
We've
mean,
had-
if it has valid plates,
So if it has valid plates, we're saying that we would like it attached to a vehicle. So what's happening is these trailers are being left. Just
Construction trailers,
construction trailers,
landscaping,
landscaping trailers,
just leave.
leave on the side of the road and there's no state law. Unless it sits there for a long period of time for us to do anything. So we're saying,
trailer can be registered and have plates.
correct. We're saying that we would like it attached to a truck, so we know it's not abandoned.
So what they're saying is that we're going to create a more stringent
Okay,
public policy. That's what they're recommending.
okay.
And that's what the traffic and safety is recommending.
Yeah.
Yes, so you're right, the plates are valid. But we're saying in River Edge, just as we can say that you can't park
Commercial.
between 9/11 in certain areas.
It's not a- if you let your mind go in the direction of commercial vehicles, they're completely legal, but we're saying you can't just park them all over town. We have an ordinance that prevents that. So what we're saying about the trails, it's cosmetic and it's also, dangerous sometimes because they're just sitting there. So it's a combination of those two things that we say, hey, you know what, this thing's gotta be attached to something. So
Can a
it's not
licensed
legal.
commercial vehicle park on our streets during these hours?
No,
No,
Okay.
we have an ordinance, we've had that for a long
it
time.
used to be between 3 and 6.
see 'em.
And between 3 and 6 and the governing body moved it up to 12 and 6.
The reason we moved it, it was one of the recommendations I had made to traffic and safety was because it leaves too little time for the police department to enforce it. 3 hours, so 12 to 6, I think, thought made it better. So we've been doing that ever since.
We're just getting complaints and we went out, it's an eyesore. I mean, if I lived in town and I had a utility trailer parked in front of my house, not attached to a car, I'd be calling the police department too. So we're just making that recommendation to you.
And I think it's, on a dark street, especially that particular example, that's low visibility, it's hard to see.
So,
I have one.
No,
No.
we're, if we're in these type of things, it can be very
This
informal.
is really quick. What if the owner gives notice to the department?
So, good question. I was gonna bring that up. With many of our ordinances, we have discretion to a certain extent. I mean, we can't be biased, right? We can't favor somebody, we can't do that, but somebody calls and said, hey, my guy's working on a house. And he just can't get back to move the trailer tonight.
Okay.
Like, you guys okay with that for a night? You know what? We're gonna be okay with
Okay.
that for a night. Same thing with the commercial vehicle. I had to take the commercial vehicle home tonight. I couldn't get back to the shop to get my car. Do it every day, do it every week. that's a different story, but
We have a logbook at our dispatch center that we log it in, 9 to
we know the
11.
regulars.
We know the,
Okay. And Chief, wouldn't you say this
They're
is
close.
in keeping with our community policing model?
Sure, because it's allowing us, we're not going out there saying just black and white with this. And that's the thing about ordinances. We always have, I think council support that. We have the ability to use discretion with many things.
and we just would like the tool in our back pocket if it is a problem to address it.
Anything else? Can we move on?
Yep.
All right.
Another big complaint we get is vehicles are covered with tarps. Some have nice covers on it, some have the blue tarps that you would pull leaves with and cover. There's nothing to address it in our code book.
In the roadway.
And we're again
Not in
talking
your
about
yard.
in the roadway. And again, we have security features on our vehicles, most police vehicles do, that are not able to capture what information you need to capture. As most people know, it's not a right to drive and park in the state of New Jersey, it's a privilege. It is a privilege to park on a public roadway in the state of New Jersey. So all we're asking is, we're getting complaints about eyesores, is that if you're gonna park in the public roadway, you should have a visible registration and it shouldn't be covered, and it shouldn't be an eyesore for your neighbors. We're not saying anything about private property. We're gonna leave that up to the governing body, and that'd be a zoning. If you want vehicles parked on a driveway that's not the police department's recommendation. We're just recommending that vehicles parked on a public roadway should not be covered.
You show them that picture.
So just to pick up on what Sergeant Diamond said, if the council feels that we want to do things with zoning, he's mentioned zoning twice, then the council can make a recommendation to the zoning board to consider, as the zoning board does, is one of the jurisdictional bodies. I think that'd be correct to say it that way. And then the zoning board would meet, they discuss and make a recommendation back to us. It's ultimately the council's authority, but always in union with the zoning board.
And I'm only put 2 pictures here, and this looks like pictures, but trust me, there's still vehicles out there covered today as we sit here. If you just go down the road, make a left, there's a big, that's my way here, so. This picture was obviously taken in the winter. We're saying, again, as a police department, we don't want vehicles covered in a public roadway, should be in a driveway, and leave that up to you for security features, eyesores, and many other reasons.
That's the question, Mayor.
Well, yeah, but one of the things I wanted to say about this is I'd like for when the ordinance is drafted, and if the council approves this, what we're going to do is leave it to the police department to meet with our borough attorney to draft the ordinance. But I'd like the ordinance, if the council is comfortable with this, to very much be clear that they can't cover it and simply uncover the tag. You can't simply cut a hole out of the tarp so that we can see the
Right.
tag.
It's
We don't
covered.
want covered vehicles. And I think that's what the traffic and safety felt.
Correct.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Would you give them a warning first before?
So what we usually do in the police department, like the chief stated before, community policing model, we always try to give a warning before we issue a summons. If it's a repeat habit, then we issue.
With new ordinance, anything new,
So,
you never just want to be like, hey, where'd that come from?
So
Most people aren't paying attention to the new ordinances.
Mr.
Is
Shadid.
there a time limit in our ordinances or in the Title 39 in terms of how long you can leave a car parked in one space on the street?
48 hours.
48
It's
hours.
48
Yes.
hours. So these cars that are covered with the tarp, they're staying there for more than 48 hours, they aren't they?
Often they are,
Often they are, but it comes time consuming, driving around marking tires. We don't go.
right?
And then if you move an inch, you're gonna.
And not for nothing, in 48 hours, we have to hook it, we tow it.
It's a
So
mandatory.
you're talking, $350, $400.
Mhm.
So if we could stay away from that and they get a ticket, or ordinance ticket, they're better off.
But they'd still have the option of the towing if necessary.
We do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that, monthly.
Yeah.
There's somebody that calls and the car's been there forever and
So
we mark the tires and 2 days later we tow it,
So
how long do you wait before you tow?
48 hours.
so
48
that's
hours,
that's Title 39, that's
Got it.
mandatory.
Got it.
We don't really play games with that.
Okay.
You
May-
call, you
may I-
complain.
Ask, what about the apartments?
So, I'm sorry,
Apartments.
apartments
If
would
they
be,
don't have enough parking over there.
there's garages in there, they can park off the public roadway. It's amazing
The
when you go
apartment
down.
cars move
move,
every day.
Yes,
They're always moving, and they're very rarely are they sitting there.
Yeah.
But we have had them before where they just sit there and, you know, they're just there. And then we'll get a call from even the, you know, so it's quasi-public back there, right? So sometimes it's the apartment owners, the people that own the buildings that'll call us, because it's not necessarily on a public roadway. It could be in a garage area, but it's been sitting there forever.
So if it's
So-
outside, it can be not covered, but still can be there. It's only because it's covered.
correct. We're
Ordinance.
around the apartments, you're looking at Oxford Terrace, Rutgers Place, Boga Road, and Howland.
For the cover,
For the covered
for the
vehicle.
48 hours, it's any
Yeah,
public
pub-
roadway.
Yeah, and if you're going to.
That's a
abandon it-
state law.
Yeah, that's the state law. I mean, and that's those streets too.
So what the chief's trying to say is that they do use discretion to a great degree. But there are times when they are called and they have to respond because that's a state statute.
And again, we're not, during snowstorms, the police department understands that you might be covering your vehicle for
Yeah,
ice and
yeah,
snow. Let's be serious, like, we're not driving around. It's, right now, the weather's beautiful and we have probably 5 or 6 vehicles in town covered, some nicely and some ugly, and we're getting complaints.
We had a car down in Lakeview last week and the resident called and said it's been in front of my house for a few days. And you know, obviously we can run the plate and it was from out of town. And that, again, we don't discriminate on it, but you know, you start to scratch your head, why has this car been here for 3 or 4 days from out of town? That becomes investigative tool for us too, because we start to say, all right, why is it here? Was it stolen and left here? Was it being used for something, you know, wrong? Or, you know, often it's just because it's a relative or something, I parked it there. But
And
overall, the marking the tires.
we're having complaints right now on Johnson Ave, a little piece of Johnson Ave between Route 4 and Hackensack. There's a guy that parked his snowplow there and he moves it 2 inches each way every day. We'll go down, every morning we mark, someone calls, we go down and mark the tires. But it's a business district down there, it's not residential.
And so commercial vehicles can stay overnight.
And it's not it's not registered commercial, it's registered private, it just has a snowplow and Salter on the back, so the tricky one.
Yeah.
So you might be seeing a letter from me in a month and a half regarding that.
There's been other streets where that, something similar like that has happened.
So. So,
Just in case someone asks me, why are we doing this? Is it safety? Is it security? Is it aesthetics?
I think it's a combination of all those things.
Okay.
You know, so safety wise, like the sergeant says, are, you know, the radio cars have the capability. They drive down the street and the plate readers, the automatic license plate readers, called the LPRs, to just grab every plate that that camera sees. And that helps us if we have a crime or an offense that happens overnight. There's a burglar. Okay, we can look back now, all those plate lookups, see which ones were from out of town. All right, it also picks up on cars that are stolen. If they're on the side of the roadway, and we've had that before where, you know, it gives an alert to the officer that car was stolen because it was left here. And then you start to say, with the middle of the night, why is it left here? Well, maybe they're here, the bad guys, and they're looking for another car, or they're doing a burglary. So, you know, it's important for us to see the plates. That would be the security end of it, right?
Right.
Aesthetics is, I mean, this is what you have, and we have had people say, you know, really? You know, again, this is actually an interesting picture because it's snow.
Yeah.
Like, can we say, hey, it's snowing and you covered your car? Okay, but has it been like that for months?
it's still
Yeah.
a safety concern for snow plowing too, because if your lights, even when they're off, they're reflective.
Mhm.
So your lights reflect off them. When they're covered, your snowplow operator that's been plowing the streets for 12 hours
Yeah.
isn't seeing
Yeah.
the car covered. There's no reflective measure. Car driving down the street's not seeing it. So it's huge safety risk too, having your vehicle covered in a public road.
So I just want to say to those who came for the yoga presentation, you're more than welcome to stay and you're more than welcome to sit in seats in the front. But if you have something else you need to do, you're also welcome to leave. And we appreciate that you came for the yoga proclamation. Just because I see you way over there. We're not open to the public, so I can't answer questions, but we will be opening to the public after the presentation. But I just wanted to let you know where we're at. Okay. Any questions about this? Okay, go ahead.
The River Edge Road train station parking lots, a lot of people are now using it and not buying permits and clogging the entrance and exits of both the upper and lower lot. So we are recommending that the mayor and council pass a no stopping or standing ordinance in the River Edge Municipal parking lots unless your permit or resident sticker is displayed and you're in a designated spot. So if you look on the picture, I circled the area of our concern. So that, if you go at the rush hour when a train is about to come, they back up all the way to the closest black line. Block the land use building and all these spots. So there's a line to try to get in and out of our parking lots. A, it's a safety concern. God forbid we have to get in there for emergencies. We can't get in there. B, the residents and permit holders can't get out. They're waiting 5-10 minutes to get out of our lot. We're just asking them to just drive further down the lot. Be courteous.
How are you gonna educate the commuters around that? Like, because that's probably gonna be a big thing, right? Like-
So we would put, usually we start with letters and we'll put an officer down there, flag people around. This is a new ordinance, new ordinance, new ordinance. And we have to do signage by law. It'd be no stopping and standing area. And we usually do it for about a week and then we would start.
Are you gonna stripe a box?
I'm
Not
a
at
big
this point?
fan, not at this point. I don't want the city look, as I call it, just
Yeah.
paint everything. I'd like to,
No numbers?
no.
No numbers?
Well, actually, we're gonna talk about numbers in
Yeah.
parking spots later.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
So this was just simple forward, and we would do this both at the upper and lower train station.
So this is mostly about standing, right? Because I mean, you can't park.
Correct.
It's already unlawful.
Correct.
So that's what we want to have.
Standing and stopping.
Okay.
And this is not in front of the building.
This is the ordinance would cover the whole lot, but we're targeting, when we go and enforce this, we're enforcing it at the entrance and exits.
So if somebody is coming in for the building department, there would be designated spots for.
We already have 4 designated
so
spots.
spot where they park.
Any other questions?
All right. So now back to this picture. This is taken on a Wednesday, mid-afternoon. We have many, many open spots. When I first started, you couldn't park in the River Ridge Road train station.
Really?
You battled for permits. So myself, Lieutenant Zemni's the chief, we're scratching our heads. How can we help the town to generate more revenue and actually use these spots for commuters? So that was what we targeted. So our current parking system is designed for permit holders Monday through Friday. Significant number of spaces go unused as pictures, and we don't collect, well, the borough doesn't collect any money. We collect money on the permits. So we think it's a lost revenue opportunity, and you could do better with that parking lot as a municipality. So
Can I just
Yeah.
interrupt for a second? So we don't collect any at either one of our parking lots on the weekend. On any of the 3 parking lots we have.
weekends is free parking.
What about the commuter lot for NJ Transit down by the 7-Eleven?
I don't know off the top of my head, however, I did print out their fee structure in the backup information that I handed out. I believe it's free on the weekends and free after 7 also down on that road.
Yeah.
Yes, it is,
And are we free after a certain hour?
correct.
7.
7.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Sarge, if I could just interrupt for 1 second. Hey, guys, it's Lieutenant Zemedies. Another thing with that parking lot also is that we had residents, I'll say, complain or express interest in this also, because that North Hackensack lot, the New Jersey Transit lot, they do offer the daily spots where and they fill up quickly, right? Because not everybody's commuting every day. So those spots fill up quickly, and we had residents expressing interest or I'll say interest that once those spots filled up, they had nowhere to park, and if there were any other alternatives, which was another driver in this being explored.
Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant.
So Lieutenant Zemedies and I met with Park Mobile, which is it's an app that many of the cities use and shore towns use instead of parking with a meter. So what we're introducing is that number of spots in our lots put metered parking in with Park Mobile, 10, 15 or so spots. However, if you have a permit and the spots fill up, you can override that and just park there as long as you have a proper permit. So you're still giving priority to your permit holders, your non-resident permit holders, but 10, 15 or so of those spots, you can designate as metered spots. So people that want to go into the city down to Hoboken for the day can go on the app, pay the $5. It's a 75-cent convenience fee that the app gets. We retain the $5. Well, the borough retains the $5, not we. And the borough makes a little revenue and they're able to use the spot.
And these would be the spots at the furthest end, correct?
So going back, not to jump around, we would probably do the last 8 on the riverside and probably the last 5 or so on the train side, all the way at the end, closest to the leaf stockpile, as I call it.
Yeah. Okay, other questions?
So, yeah, that's a good question, because you don't want the permitted residents to park in those spots.
You don't, and if you put it as far as away from the walk that they have.
Right.
They're gonna do that. Well, that's because they have a car that they're afraid is gonna get dinged. But you can't do anything about that.
So, and then the mayor protecting, just to piggyback, I don't know if I have it in the next slide, is that we're even recommending on the weekends to, if you don't have a resident sticker, let the residents park free in our municipality parking lot. But on the weekends, what you'll see is a lot of out-of-towners use our municipal parking lot, jump on a train to go to Hoboken, to go see friends or whatnot. It's another opportunity for the borough of River Edge to capitalize on that. At the same time, if you have a resident sticker that we issue, great, you pay taxes, use our lot on the weekends or overnight.
I thought we established some kind of ordinance to sell permits to out-of-town folks.
We did,
Okay.
we did approve that.
Separate.
So, a while, for a long while, because there was such high demand, we limited it just to River Edge, both in the lower and the upper lot. And I think we did it also in the Main Street lot, right?
Correct.
But then,
Yes.
they weren't being full, so one of the things this council did, was to say, okay, we're going to give, how many did we give? So outsiders,
Small.
I think like 10 or 15.
which we can always update, if we want to. Since we're already saying we might go 15.
Well,
So right now-
buying them, that's
Yes.
a good thing.
So we do issue a lot of permits still, it's just people don't have to go to work and, they only have to go 3 of the 5 days into the city. So, as of April 1st, the River Edge Road, both lots, we issued 72 resident permits, 15 non-residents for a total of 87. And the Main Street Hackensack Ave lot, we issued 19 resident permits and 0 non-residents for a total of 19. So. They're issued, it's just that. Some only have to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, some only have to work Tuesday, and these spaces are not being utilized.
As I said, and I think Councilman Benson would agree with me, the Traffic and Safety Committee, who does a great job and service for our borough, is in full support of this. Now, you want to talk about the cost, right?
So this
You saved the best
is
for
pretty
last.
much, no, there's really no financial cost for the borough to do metered parking spot. Like I said, it's $5, we have to sign up for the app. There might be a little startup fee, which we'll send out to the mayor and council, which is negotiable when we had our Zoom conference. How they get their VIG, as I call it, or their revenue, is they charge 75 cents per transaction. So
And they install the meter readers or
So the signage they provide to us, we would install the sign in front of the parking stall. And we would just put a number of the stall. When you go on the app, you go to River Edge Road, stall number 1, $5. And there's a code.
so there's no loss to the town at all. So there is no money issue.
And how are we gonna know if someone's out of compliance? You guys.
So we have on the back end, administrative services, we'll have something at our dispatch center or something that we can print out every day. Or we can even put to
You have to
our,
know, like, if a car's in the.
So the River Edge Police
Right.
Department already patrols the lot every day, several times a day.
So we go down there at a certain point with that report.
Okay.
And say, you know, it's not.
Typically, we do conduct school patrols. Take other areas of towns that we have to check on, and then we'll do the train station patrols. No particular order.
All right.
All right, here's the big one. 9 to 11 residential parking. As the mayor knows, we've many a times, and the chief, many people have said that our 9 to 11 ordinance is outdated. People have come to traffic and safety. And the recent thing is COVID's over, no one's using the train station, as we said, why do we still have the 9 to 11 parking ordinance? The chief directed me to look to see what other towns did. So here's a solution. We believe that will work for River Ridge. However, it will cost us some money to implement it. So feel free to stop me as we go through.
So I just want to emphasize, everything up to this point is budget neutral. Okay,
So here's why the change, as I just said. So we would like to create residential parking zones. It would be by neighborhood, by color, and district number. Residents can obtain a zone-specific permit, and how we would enforce it would be by the district and color of the zone in the rear window. If you go to the backup information, it would be easier if I can refer to, so I understand where I did it. It's the resident permit. It looks like this. Mine's not color coded, here it should be, but this permit is in blue. It would have a permit number and I have an expiration number.
That's a district number.
Yes,
We already have that, right?
correct. So we don't create this whole new
Yeah.
sticker and have a million stickers on someone's car. We're just gonna use the same sticker and it'll be dual purpose.
We're gonna color code it.
And we're just gonna color code it. So the permit details residents can apply for a zone-specific parking permit. So if you go to the map that I just hand out, it'd be your district number. So if you lived on Manning Ave, yes, you would still be able to park on Voorhees and Concord. So you're limiting to the space that the residents can park. So that would be District 4, and we'll just call that, for the purposes of this presentation, we'll call that the black zone. But if you lived on Manning Ave and you went to go try to park in the 5th district, the blue zone on Windsor Road, the 9 to 11, you would be in violation. 9 to 11. If you try to go down to Elizabeth in the 8th district, you'd be in violation. We'll call that the white zone.
And the reason for the colors, obviously to designate the zones, but also you could be in the same zone, but you may not be able to get a color, right? So if you're on the west side of town, if you're on the west side of, you know, by 5th and Midland, and you're a 1 or a 2, you're not gonna be able to get a color 1 or 2, because then all those people could come park down there. All right, so it's very, it's kind of specific to the area, but it's specific to the extent where you can go a block or 2 either way.
Specific where anyone would want to park to get on the train.
It prevents that, what I just said, from happening, because that will happen. We know that from Bogart Road, right? We know that residents come down to Bogart and Manning, Bogart and Voorhees. They're not all there just to see the mayor, they just park and they. Bus.
And we're still limiting the out-of-towners to come park on those streets from 9 to 11, but we're giving the opportunity to say, hey, you live here, you can park in front of your street if you obtain this permit. It's not mandatory, but you just won't be able to park 9 to 11 if you don't get the permit.
so this would be for, in this specific, particular, iteration, that it'd be between Bogart and Kindercamack, correct?
So our 9 to 11 areas in town are Elizabeth Street. We would not go past Main Street, so we're talking Elizabeth from Main to the Circle is an area.
Mm-hmm.
Windsor Road from Kindercamack to Bogart, and then Voorhees, Manning, Concord, Monroe up to Bogart from Kindercamack. Then you'll have District 3, which is Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jefferson, Kindercamack to Bogart.
Okay, the reason I brought it up is because Concord is not, between Kindercamack and Bogart. I think you mean Clarendon Court.
Clarendon Court, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so basically where we currently have 9 to 11, we're simply go, well, this would solve a problem with my house, surprisingly.
Here's,
My wife has been giving me a hard time for the last 14 years about this.
so here's the downfall.
Making you pay the tickets.
The downfall is the street sweeper won't get curb to curb. But that's just like anywhere else in town. If you don't live in 9 to 11, street sweeper goes around your car. So that's equal fair to the rest of town. However, I agree with Superintendent Melito. I did have a meeting with him that when it snows, they plow the 9 to 11 streets curb to curb to curb. And they go up and down and salt that during the parking restriction hours. So in exchange, I agree with them creating where you can't park 9 to 11 would have to fall into the snow ordinance, no parking. I think that's a fair exchange.
Oh, yeah.
I lost you. So, I'm sorry.
So you might
So We're
notice.
gonna have, certain, we're gonna have parking rules based on the district that you live in. And what are the, so if if I live in District 3, which I happen to, I can't park in District 4 or 9 to 11.
So where we
Right? Is
have,
that basically.
No, that's not.
Okay.
So
What,
what we're talking about is
What?
currently, there are streets between Kinnecamack and Bogart, all the streets between Kinnecamack and Bogart, can't park between 9 and 11
Nobody can.
at all.
Oh,
So for instance, and this benefits me, so, and I don't get to vote on it, which is fine. So I can say, so currently what happens is if you're parking there, you get ticketed. We have been ticketed, you know, and that's the way it should go. We should be ticketed. So,
park on
if you
Bogart
forget-
time Between 9 and 11.
Bogart,
not Bogart,
Kinnecamack.
one of the
Between.
pass-through
Oh,
streets.
okay.
Kinnecamack and Bogart.
Okay, now on Bogart, if you've ever noticed, there are snow signs, can't park there during snow. And you might have wondered what that was for. That's so that the police can come and tell people, hey, the DPW needs to snow, you need to get off and everybody knows that and they're good about that, wouldn't you say?
Right.
So we'll just be adding that to the streets, the pass-through streets between Kinnecamack and Bogart, all the way up and down Kinnecamack and Bogart.
And it helps the residents.
So we're extending the zone?
So no, we're just modifying the zone. So you see this SWAT I just created,
Yeah.
okay? All of these streets, you can't park, and you have to move your car, between 9 and 11.
Understand.
So all they're recommending is that we just modify the current prohibition so that, this 9/11 only applies to people who don't live on those streets,
Okay.
okay? And but it does apply to those who live on if they get a permit. And it does apply to those people during snow emergencies,
So we're
Correct.
making it less restrictive in a way.
both less and more. So we're reducing one restriction by creating I guess you call it a privilege
Right.
for those who live there.
Yeah.
But then we're creating reminding them that privilege is conditional on weather. Would that be fair,
I
Chief?
think that's perfect,
I
right?
think that's a fair exchange.
And there are many people, and Mayor and I know because we get the same phone calls sometimes. People that, and they do have some hardships, you know, in the northeast corner of town. There's some people that have more cars than they do driveway. And they can't park their cars, you know?
And that's District 1.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we went, several of them came to the council and we've been trying to figure out a way to help them.
Well, this has changed over the
Yeah.
years too, remember, it was only a few years ago where you weren't permitted to have an ordinance like this. Right, that, you know,
Yeah, because this is my 14th year and certainly in my first 8 or so,
Right.
these requests would come and the then chief would say, we're not permitted to do that. But because of statutory changes, and I think also common law, the courts have weighed in to some degree.
I would venture to say in 2021 it changed because that's when Woodbridge passed the first ordinance I could find.
So basically, we're saying people who live on these streets can keep their car there between 9 and 11.
That's right.
unless it's
Unless
snow
the
weather. That's it.
And
Please.
so if, this is what I understood, sorry, if I have to go have breakfast at Mayor's house, right? In the morning, I can park at Bogart, but not in front of his house,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Otherwise I get ticketed.
Correct.
No, I'm not coming.
No, 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 no. Oh,
Apparently she's not coming to your house.
she invites herself and then she says she's not coming. I'm deeply
No, no,
insulted.
I'm just like summarizing that between 9 and 11, he can park and he has the right, he lives there, he can't get, but we park on Bogart and walk to his house.
Right.
Example, like between.
All the people who are currently living there, including myself and my wife, we're always jockeying cars. Every day we're jockeying cars. So that we don't get tickets.
And I agree with the residents that are complaining, the use of what we first saw going into the city, there's not many people going to the city, you don't see as you would say, no one's illegally parking around to the bus stop.
But it still protects you.
It still protects you when that ramps back up.
Yeah,
And this 9 to 11 is all right now posted on all the streets.
Yeah,
Correct.
nothing changes about that.
but just the pass-through streets between Kinderkamak and Bogart and Kinderkamak
And
and
then you got Park
Park.
and Kinderkamak, that little. by the
River
train
Edge
station.
Road.
I guess the only thing is, if I live way up here in District 3, you know,
You
I have
can't,
a sticker.
you can't.
You can't do it now.
Can't do it now and you
No,
won't be,
but
these are gonna be color coded and you won't be.
no,
able
I
to
could
get
park here though.
Park in Bogart.
I could park between Bogart and Kinderkamak.
No, you
No,
can't.
because
You
it'll
never
be
could.
color coded. You're just, if you live outside these zones.
No, I live in District 3.
Correct.
Let's say near Fifth Avenue. Okay, and I wanna park my car here,
Where are you parking your car exactly?
between Bogart and Kinderkamak.
You can't,
In District 3.
you can't, because you're not gonna be eligible for a color.
That's why I said before, the color,
The color is what restricts you.
you could have it
from going
green
down.
and it's
Oh,
Just
it
a
would
regular
be
three.
only people between Bogart and Kinderkamak.
You're gonna get the
in the
color.
9 to 11, so the only people allowed
This
colors.
is really good, okay. I
Yeah,
got it.
And
I
then
think
you're the,
people-
and you're only gonna get, yours is just gonna be a circle. The parking permit's gonna have a
Okay.
permit number
Okay.
and an
So
expiration
you're
date.
gonna only issue those to people that live between Bogart? and
Yes.
Okay, I
No,
get
never
that.
does.
Yeah, I think people like me and David who don't have to deal with this, it's like, right, it's strange to me. It's like, really, you have to move your
Right.
car?
Every single day.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, that's pretty awful. So I'm glad we're solving it.
So probably on the signs, it would then maybe alter and then.
So if you go to this page, it will be no parking when road snow covered, the top sign. And then it'll be residential parking only, similar to this, Monday through Friday, towaway zone, effective, obviously, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11.
And this is where.
And this is,
Check. Oh, that's
and
This is where the cost is.
you might ask why an expiration date? I've lived in River Ridge for 10 years. Why do I need an expiration date? Houses do turn over, and in particular zones, there's apartment buildings where they turn over monthly. So what you're gonna find out when I reached out to my colleagues was I issued Mr. Walker permit number 124, who lived in the Jones apartment building, but moved out a year ago, but he's still parking by the train station. So. That's
We're
why
very
doing
possessive
that.
over the sticker, because they can,
So they,
we're actually worth a lot of money when you think about it. You wouldn't realize it, but they are.
so
Oh, I think so.
we'll probably do a 2 or 3 year expiration, so we don't have people coming in,
Okay.
all the time. But
Where would they be decaled? Rear
Same.
left, rear right?
we will not change, our ordinance says rear lower left window on all our cars.
And their exteriors,
And exteriors.
whether we changed that years ago.
So cost.
If you. Let me just skip ahead.
Yes.
The snow ordinance we spoke about, street sweeper, here we're gonna cost. So this is as of April 1st. Both signs and hardware, as of April 1st to implement this is $15,403.20. The stickers and permits are $1,000. So you're at 16 and change. I just threw in a 15% adjustable because I don't know how fast the mayor and council, if they wish to pursue this or whatnot. What they were looking at to do. So if you went a year, I just put a 15% cost inflation. And round numbers, you're looking at $18,852.20. So let's call it $20,000 to implement this. However, I don't think the mayor and council should jump into this right away. That if you go through the packets, I have a sample letter that I would like to sent to the residents.
Mhm.
It's on,
Oh, it was back.
it's behind the Park Mobile, I believe.
Yeah, it is. So, right behind the permit page. Back one more.
Yeah. So it's just a sample residence where I would drop it off to all the residents for their feedback. And I think the police department will hold the town hall
In the affected
in
area.
the affected areas for the residents between the 9th to 11th, explaining what we're proposing, get their feedback, whether they like it, they don't like it, and send out the letter to them and get their feedback.
And I think that's the only way to go forward, personally.
So,
And I think it shows tremendous wisdom on the police department that you guys have already prepared a sample letter. I hope, if the council is interested in moving forward on this last proposal, I wholeheartedly agree that it needs time.
so.
All right. So any other any other questions? All right, I'm gonna break it down into pieces like I normally do, if that's okay?
Just one.
Sure.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What about handicap? I mean, somebody's coming to see their mom, they can't.
Under state law, handicap parkers, as long as they're a valid handicap, are time exempt, meaning that they don't have to pay a meter and they don't, it's a time limit, they can park. Same with home health aides.
Okay, so let's break it down. Can you move back to the first part of your presentation?
All the way in the beginning?
Yep.
Before you,
Okay, go ahead.
if the last page says it does not include labor costs, do you know what that will be? Or what?
So
reflected in it?
That's up to Superintendent Melito,
Ah.
whether he does it on straight time or overtime.
Okay,
I don't want to speak for him. So I don't know his manpower, but
got it.
that's just for the material. I can tell you that every time I do in a work order, he's done it soup to nuts. And I have no complaints.
Got it.
So,
Yeah, he's amazing and
Yes.
so is our DPW team.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're amazing. All right, so move forward if you could. Okay, so the first one is non-paved surface ordinance, and this would be what I'd be looking for is a motion and second, if the council is interested in moving ahead with an ordinance that would basically say you can't drive on our paper streets and with signage.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, with the understanding, as I said before, that the police department is going to coordinate with our borough attorney. They're going to create an ordinance, and for the public's benefit, ordinances then have to come before the council. The council then can have its input if it wishes. It would come as a first reading. And the council could approve the first reading or say, no, we want to send it back for a correction. If the council then approves the first reading, would it go to the land use board?
No,
No.
it's not.
No.
Parking regulation.
And then at the next meeting, which is during the other than the summertime, would be 2 weeks later. The public would be able to offer their opinions at the second reading, and then it would become a ordinance. So the process still protects the public's input, and the police department and the attorneys will work out the language. All right, everybody good with that? Okay, would you move to the next one? Okay, parking of trailers. So this is to prohibit all trailers that are unhitched. Unhitched would be fair. Between midnight and 6, which is it's same as our other ordinances. So it's in sync with those. Is there a motion?
Second.
I didn't ask before, but I thought it was pretty unanimous by the way the motions came. This came as single voices. Is there debate? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, these are covered vehicles, also between 12 and 6. So any sort of covering on a vehicle would be prohibited between 12 and 6. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there debate? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, please move forward. Okay, so this is no stopping and standing in the River Edge train lot. Is there a motion?
So moved.
All in favor? Oh, is there any debate? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, and the next one? So this is changing our current parking system, creating daily permit holders, changing slightly the way we're gonna do it over the weekend. And again, this would be negotiated so, and our BA would also be a part of all those conversations, especially this one. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there debate? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, any abstention? All right, then it's unanimous, as the others are. Okay, now this one, there is a cost. So what, but as we've already stated, the police and the traffic safety are not recommending it to be immediately moved forward, but the process to move forward. Is the council in agreement that the process should move forward?
Yes.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, is there debate? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? I think that covers it all.
Thank you, Mayor Council.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, with this last one, for the public's benefit and for those here, and for the council, after the open house and everything else, then it would come back. And we would then look at, can we put it in this year's budget? Can we not? If so, also, when would the police want us to move forward with this? Because you guys might, guys and gals, might want for it to be implemented according to a certain date.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, a
And it
lot.
could take a little while, even though we obviously have to include the DPW, because you just can't turn around and say, Jason, get these done by next week. There's a lot of signs.
So,
Can't install signs in winter.
so this is something that may happen in 3 months, it may happen in 12 months, if the council is so inclined, and if the public are in support, and if all the concerns of the police department, DPW, and our borough attorney and our business administrator are met.
Good timeline would probably be spring.
That's what I'm thinking. All right.
Let's be open to the public before the chief and.
Well, I'm gonna ask the chief, if you guys could just step away, well, just stay where you are, because I don't know if anyone's gonna come forward, and if they are, we'll just make room for them, okay? So could I have a motion and second to open to the public on any item on the agenda?
So
All in favor, please say aye. Okay, any member of the public, either, can we stop presenting? Present or online, if you're online, please raise your hand. Any member of the public who would like to come forward, ask a question, make a comment about anything that's been said or will be said on the agenda, but only the agenda. Later, absolutely. Well, but the rest of the meeting will go much quicker. So the second opening usually happens in about 10 minutes from now. Well, assuming all things being equal, okay? Okay, I don't see any hands on the remote, and I don't see any hands in public. Could I have a motion second to close the public on any item on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chief, Sergeant, thank, and Lieutenant Semenies, thank you for coming. Great presentation and lots of hard work. That's
Sergeant Diamond and the Lieutenant, these guys run with this. They do a great job.
an excellent job. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you for the visuals. That was
Thank you, yeah.
great. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks for bringing us to this work.
Back on the field.
Good to see that.
I'm jealous.
You got to the top of your head.
It's like my
Wait.
15th.
And Chief, we,
And then my
we
parents
can never get
surprised us.
anything done in town without volunteers. You're volunteering for our team, so we really appreciate that.
Yes, great
What is that?
rec system.
That's.
We're just hanging. Yeah, back.
All right,
Thank you.
good night. Thank you.
Thanks. Chris.
Could I have, oh, thank you, Lieutenant. Could I have a motion second in a moment to approve the appointment of Raymond Stitz to the 250th Anniversary Committee of the United States of America and approve the retirement of Captain Craig Casey effective July 1st, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is not debatable. All in favor, please say aye. All right. Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay, there will be monthly reports, land use, environmental commission, tax collector, and library board of trustees for May and June. Any member of the public would like to get that, please contact the clerk's office and you will be given a copy. Could I have in a moment from Councilwoman Kinsella, second from Councilman Benson, the first ordinance? I'm going to read it into the record. A motion that the following ordinance be introduced and passed on first reading and setting July 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard as the date and time, and the River Edge Library as a place, and Zoom as a virtual platform for hearing on said ordinance, ordinance 2514, an ordinance by the Borough of River Edge in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, amending and supplementing the River Edge Borough Code, Chapter 350, Site Plan Review, and Chapter 460, Zoning.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Madam Business Administrator, would you please, for the public's benefit, explain what we hope to achieve through this ordinance?
This ordinance is seeking to codify recommendations from the Land Use Board regarding swimming pools and building coverages as part of the master plan reexamination report.
Okay. Councilman Glass and I sit on the Land Use Board, and one of the things that we've noticed over its history is that many residents are coming for approval and sometimes spending thousands of dollars when it wasn't necessary. Also, some residents are coming and asking for a tremendous amount of variance relief, that can jeopardize their neighbor's property by flooding. We have permeable and impermeable coverage. And so to make changes that are fair to all who come to the board and to all of our residents, some recommendations have been debated at great length within the Land Use Board, and the Land Use Board is now bringing that to the council. And so the council can certainly ask questions at this time or debate. If this is only a first reading, the council could also bring debate and questions to the second time. And the public will certainly be given an opportunity to speak at the second reading. So it has been moved, it's seconded. It is now open for debate, commentary, or inquiry. Is there debate, commentary, and inquiry? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, it is unanimous. Okay, now we have a lot of resolutions because we have moved forward with our budget. And now we can do a lot of the capital improvements that were in the budget. There is a correction. Q, item, let me see, 12Q, which is resolution 25-175, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant agreement with New Jersey Department of Transportation for 2026 municipal aid and Bogart Road. Because these are resolutions, we're not going to move them and second them. We're going to have questions or comments to be offered first. Robert's rules does not really allow for that, but it becomes burdensome for us to do it according to Robert's rules. So we've always allowed for questions and comments, which would be, I'm a for or I'm against it. It's kind of debate, but it's technically not until we move the item. So is there any member of council who have, I know that a lot of questions were asked of the business administrator during the week, but there may be some that are unanswered or new questions came up. So I open to the council. Questions, comments? Hearing none. I ask for a motion from Councilman Glass and a second from Councilwoman Dar. Well, no, we can't do that. From Councilman Glass and a second from Councilman Benson for resolution 25-159 through 25-187.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Okay, now what I'm gonna ask is all in favor, and if you're in favor, you can say yes. And if you need to recuse or
Abstain.
abstain, you can do to a individual resolution. You can do that after you say yes, if you wish to do so. If you wish to vote against or abstain from all of the resolutions, you can do that immediately. So that we have a process. So it's been moved and seconded. Technically, we're open for debate, but we kind of already did that. But I'll give a second chance. Is there a debate? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any abstentions, recusals, at this time?
Yes, Mayor.
Or in opposition? Oh, great. Yes.
I want to recuse from resolutions 25-162 and 25-170.
All right. And any others from any member of council? Hearing none, we now move to payment of the bills. Could I have our finance chair, Councilwoman Kinsella, please move resolution 25-188.
Thank you, Mayor. At a regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of Borough of River Ridge, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on June 12, 2025. Be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge approve the following expenditures. Current fund, $611,781.10. General capital fund, $45,837.92. Grant funds, $6,975. Animal control, $7.20. Trust other, $1,168.91. Payroll, $22,499.92. Developers escrow, $3,217.50. Self-insurance trust, $1,624.04. Recreation trust, $7,457.09. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. It is not debatable. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any oppositions, opposed, recusals, or abstention?
Yes, ma'am. I want to vote to approve the bill list, but recuse from all the bills or payments related to the Recreation Department.
Very good. All right, anyone else? All right. Okay, is there new business? Is there old business? Okay, could I have a motion to open the public on any issue?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Come on up. So we're gonna ask you to say your full name and your address, unless, of course, you are a member of law enforcement. And then they have a right not to state that. But come, please, sit down.
Yeah.
Pull up extra chair if you need to. No, here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyone's going to speak needs to come forward. All right.
She's
All right. All right, please state your name and your address, and then you have 2 minutes
Okay.
each.
Marie Catino, 247 Lexington Drive, River Edge. Two different things.
Sure.
The first one, as a senior in town, and I've been here a longstanding senior. We are concerned that at this point in time that there is nothing for us as residents to have any community services. We would like to see if maybe that the council would find it upon themselves to open up either the library or some other spot that we can have rides to different venues, whether it be a casino ride or going to plays and things like that to benefit us as seniors. We're paying taxes like everybody else. And other towns also have the same kind of venues and abilities for their residents. That's number one.
Okay.
Yes, let's see, you covered that. Okay, there's also the River Edge Recreation. For years, people that were running it had different trips also to, casinos, plays, down to the city, whatever. And in the last year, because I get all the emails too, and they don't have anything for people that are a little bit older. you know, like, they have pickleball, they have tennis, chess in the park, they have running, they have things like that. But they don't have the bus trips that they used to have. And even down to the city, see the tree at Rockefeller Center at Christmas time, you know. We've been going elsewhere. I've been going to other towns that do have trips or whatever, and I feel that the ones that are coming out that they're talking about, it's just not, you know, accommodating
Another two.
us. And I'm sorry, I didn't say, my name is Joan Ilg, and I live at 404 Valley Road here in River Ridge.
All right, anything else you want to say? You have 2 more minutes, and then we would then hear from anybody else, and then we close the public and we'd answer all your questions.
Okay, I have one more thing.
Sure.
I don't have to repeat my address, right?
No, you've already,
I've already
Been-
established
yeah.
myself. I would really like to know what and how is it that Olaf Bogert has been able to acquire new sidewalks and curbs? And who or how is this being paid by?
yeah, sure.
As a resident, I've had to pay for my own. And I'm concerned that why is the rest of the town not privy to this benefit?
Okay, anything else? Still have a minute if you want. All right, then if we could ask you to return to the seats of the, can we see if anyone's online? Is anyone else in the public? Come on up.
Out of agenda,
What?
so I have a topic out of agenda.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So my name is Ved Arya. I live in 20 Richard Court. I have a kind of a request regarding the improvement that we are doing in KBG. I missed the previous meeting. So we have a group of like close to 30 plus families in River Edge who play cricket on Saturday and Sunday. I'm the one who take care of the permit with the rec department. I missed the previous meeting. I wanted to present that we also want to request to have, you know, a cricket pitch, because right now what we do, we play on the dirt where you have second and third base. It's okay. We have been doing it for past like 10 years now, but it would have been nicer if we could have a proper, a cricket pitch installed. The reason for that request is because we are growing. Plus, we also have interest from other neighboring towns. They want to come and play here. So what I normally do, I look at the schedule and I find a time when, you know, KBG is not used. And eventually we'll generate more revenue for the town if we use KBG as well. So that's the request that I'm kind of here to put forward.
Okay, anything else?
That's it. That's pretty much.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone online?
When I last checked, Mayor, there was no.
I see no hands up.
no hands up.
Okay, could I have a motion second to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's start with Councilwoman, I don't know if you want to take this, or Lizette, you want to take this, but the services we offer seniors and the request for trips, which is what was brought up. The rec department does have SCORE. Who is liaison for SCORE?
I am.
You are?
Yeah.
So both of you, if you want to just talk about what we currently offer for seniors also, but actually let's start with the bus. First of all, we do offer transportation locally. So Lizette, if you could talk about that.
Yes, the transportation the borough offers is locally, doctor's appointments, dialysis, ShopRite. With these events like the trips and the plays, when I had first started, participation dropped off because of COVID. And also to, you know, these recreation programs have to be self-sustaining. So, you know, the recreation director, if there is interest to coordinate, let's say it's $1,000 and 10 people want to participate, and that's like the minimum, that would be part of the fee. These programs, all recreation programs are self-sustained by the fee. So to find out if to regenerate this type of service, that would require coordination with the recreation director.
So what we're saying is that you would need to reach out either through the borough administrator or clerk. No, we don't debate. We don't debate, we answer questions. So,
Why can't I ask what
we're open to the public. Now we're closed to the public. Let us finish. We're gonna respond to everyone equally. Okay. Okay. Well, this is the procedure at all towns, or at least, as far as I know.
I've been,
We will as soon as we adjourn, if you want, we absolutely will. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to recommend through the BA and the liaisons that, Mr. Rika reach out to you. And you can also reach out to him and see if we can't reestablish these programs, because I think they're good programs. And I think trips to, different locations, Broadway would be good. If we can make it financially, viable. Would you like to add?
I would just like to add that the SCORE was previously run by the Maz. And they no longer, it's now under the rec department. And just so you know, the rec director has planned trips to the casino. Nobody signs up. This is when you don't have enough people signing up, he can't do the activity. That's my understanding. And he's tried this for several years. And with regards to Broadway, I am not certain about that, but again, as the mayor said, happy to bring this to his attention and maybe he can plan something with that.
Maybe in the future. No, you can't, but we're gonna come back to you as soon as the meeting's ended, because we have to maintain the same protocol every single meeting. Okay?
Barry's gonna speak about the SCORE program.
Sure.
Yeah, so the SCORE program runs at Kol Dorot, the Jewish temple. It runs from 10 to 3 on Mondays, and it's run by the rec department. There is a budget associated with that program. There's a $2 admission at the door. There's about 10 or 15 River Edge residents, about 20 or so other residents. I do know that the gentleman who runs SCORE has tried to get like trips through SCORE, like ask them, hey guys, do you want to go somewhere? And he finds it very challenging to get enough people interested and enough money to actually do something. So my sense of it is if you want to join the SCORE program and work with that person from the rec, it's Dan Jablonski, that might be a good idea, because he does try to do those things through this program.
Okay, so the next question was curbs and sidewalks along Bogart Road.
Those improvements are funded through a grant from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. They fund this grant program. We're applying for Section 10. We apply every year for a multi-million-dollar grant, but based on budgeting from the state, that's why we're up to Section 10. We only receive about $200,000 a year. So, and that road meets the criteria established by the state for the grant program. Once Bogart Road is completed, then the next area would be Fifth Avenue. Not every street qualifies, and these requirements are established by the state.
So I want to add to that for the public's benefit. This money is going to go to someone. And if we don't apply for it, then, and refurbishing those curbs are something that we need to do. And wherever we can get a grant to do it so that the residents of River Edge don't have to pay for it. So your tax dollars, with the exception of engineering costs,
Correct.
is not, so it's at 100% covering the construction costs. And we rather do something than nothing. We rather take the money than lose the money to another town. Now, I live on Manning. Will Manning ever get new curbs? Not from this grant, because they don't meet the criteria. But everywhere we can get money that could go somewhere else, they are going to cost the residents of River Edge and are going to refurbish and refresh the town and be a boon to taxpayers. We want to do that. So that's why when we get construction, wherever we can get construction and somebody else pays for it, instead of you and me, because I live in town and I pay taxes, that's what we want to do. Next question. And if you want to ask follow-up questions after we adjourn, I'm going to come back to you, okay? We're just going to follow procedure during the meeting, okay? Cricket pitch and schedule. So the pitch is not part of the approved plan that we currently have passed. So this is not something we can do at this time. If we do further improvements in years to come, that may be something we could look at, but it is not something we can do at this time. Would that be correct?
That is correct, because the improvements to KBG are partially, half of it is funded through the Bergen County Open Space Grant Program. So fiscal year 19 and 20 covered the improvements to the softball and baseball fields. And it's solely for use of softball and baseball. And then the 2024 grant that's still at KBG is for the pickleball courts and batting cage. So we could only make improvements based on what we applied for a grant.
Okay. Those are all the questions. We now have council comments. Are there council comments?
Just one clarification, Administrator. Can you explain what section 10 is?
Section 10 is where we are applying from Monroe all the way to Continental. But depending on the award we receive, if we receive an award, then the limits would be shrunk with Monroe as the starting point.
Thank you.
And the reasons there's 10 is because they only give us so much each year. So we try to maximize what we get. And that's why we're up to improvement number 10.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, so we're gonna go in closed session in a few minutes. We're gonna do it here.
Yes.
Okay, but we're gonna come back to see you guys. So we're gonna hold off closed session for about 5-10 minutes. Could I have a motion in second to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is, my bad. I did it wrong because I was trying to rush. Could I have a motion in second for resolution 25-189, resolution to go into closed session, attorney-client privilege, NJSA 10:4-12B5, signage.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Now, we will not be returning to open session, so we're going to adjourn the public session for the evening because there will be no action we're going to take, that will take place.
Correct.
Everybody understand that? Very good. Did I ask for a motion to adjourn yet? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, you guys,